1 week from today, the GHSA baseball state tournament will get underway, but there's still so much to sort out in Georgia ahead of time. I'm Cory McCartney, along with PBR Georgia Scouting Director Phil Kerber, as we dive into the latest PBR Georgia Power 25 in the Class 7A through 1A polls. Phil, welcome back in.
Thanks for having me again, Cory. I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah, well, look, Buford finished off its undefeated season, taking down Grayson in its finale. It remains the unquestioned number one team in the state. Meanwhile, some movement within the rest of the top five. Loganville up to number 3, North Oconee to 4, Allatoona in at 5. Phil, let's start with Buford. I mean, they had a target on their back all season long. Certainly some high-level talent there. I mean, obviously Dylan Lesko, we know, the top-ranked player in the class of 2022 in the state of Georgia. What stands out to you, though, the most when you think about what this team went through to get through an undefeated season?
I mean, it's just got to be the consistency. Just to think of the 2.5 months that you have to go through and play perfect or just about perfect every single game, and to just do that is truly incredible. I mean, and it speaks to the depth that Buford has, because, it's not just Dylan Lesko out there doing it. They've got Jack Sprocket, Trent Rank, Riley Stanford, Jackson Gaspard, Brant Balkan, like the list just goes on. And it's just a deep team that has just performed all year. And, I mean, at this point, I don't know who's going to stop them, because they've taken on some of the state's best. They've taken on some of the best Alabama has to offer too. And they got through it all. So it's going to be fun to watch them in the playoffs and just see how dominant they can be going forward.
Yeah, they're obviously a team that each time out, you're getting everyone's best shot, and they've been able to weather everybody's best shot to go into the postseason undefeated. Meanwhile, after going on a tear, Loganville fell to Eastside on Monday with Grayson and Jefferson remaining. Despite some recent losses, Phil, how impressed have you been with the Red Devils, and how much has their recent play, Monday aside, kind of solidified them as a force in 5A?
Yeah, I mean, we've had our eye on them since the beginning of the season, and I mean, how can you not? With last year being a wash, they are still the 3-time defending 5A state champs. So they too have had a target on their back the past 2 years, and they've taken on all challengers. Now they got tripped up with Eastside, and they're still neck and neck with Greenbrier in that region. But looking at the roster, they've got the pitching, they've got the hitting, they've got defense. It's a pretty complete team, as far as the state is concerned. So with the way they're playing, take away Monday, even with whatever happens today, they're still going to be one of the toughest teams in 5A. And I got to say credit to them for scheduling Jefferson and Grayson as the final 2 games of the regular season. That's a nice little tune-up to take on those two before you head into playoffs.
Phil, as you detailed in this week's rankings breakdown on the PBR Georgia website, number 2 Carrollton, 4th ranked North Oconee, number 6 Grayson, and number 8 Winder-Barrow. They all had some setbacks of late. We focused a lot early this season with Carrollton. Despite dropping 2 recent games, they're 26-3, 12-1 in the region. There has to be no other way to describe this team than absolutely tested.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at some of those losses too. One of those recent ones coming against Auburn. They were the number 1 ranked team in PBR Alabama's Power 25 as of 2 weeks ago. So I mean, that one, you can't really take much away from them on that, going out of state and playing. They've dominated in-state teams. That's kind of what matters, outside of the recent loss to East Paulding. But it's tested, and they've got guys who have experience, and they've got guys who are impact players. And when that all comes together come playoff time, that's what's going to win games for them. And we've seen them do it early in the season and throughout the season, where they can blow teams out, they can beat you in a close battle, they can hold you with their pitching. It's a really complete team, and I think they are ones that can challenge Buford. It'll be hopefully we can see that matchup. I've got my fingers crossed, but I think that they could give them all they can handle.
Well, they certainly have the formula for success there. When it comes to Winder-Barrow, I mean, they had that opportunity to make a statement in a 3-game series that Buford could not come through. Still 19-5, though. I mean, obviously any 6A title is going to go through Buford, but what gives you confidence that Winder-Barrow remains a contender?
Well, you're looking at them. If they aren't playing anybody named Buford or Peachtree Ridge, they're undefeated right now. 3 losses to Buford, 2 to Peachtree Ridge, and they're not going to face Peachtree Ridge in the playoffs, since they're in a different classification. So that's it's another team where I think it's going to come down to, if they match up with Buford, what happens there. because they've taken shots from everybody else in 6A and come back victorious. Maybe they'll get another chance at Buford, and if they do, I mean, I hope that happens too, because I'd love to see Brady House go up against those guys again. And any team that has Brady House, you got a chance. So that's where the stock really lays in Winder-Barrow.
Seemingly everything we talk about with this state, everything revolves around Buford. He is Phil Kerber on Twitter at Phil Kerber PBR. We'll be back next week to set the stage for the state tournament. Until then, everybody get out there and enjoy some baseball.